Hello there, people of the internet. I've made a bunch of 223 videos over the course of the past couple of months, I guess. And the main reason why I've been doing that is because I just find the concept behind 223 and what makes it effective and not effective extraordinarily fascinating. And I go in depth on different barrel lengths and different twist rates and how it affects bullet tumbling and how velocity affects how well the bullet's going to fragment and whatnot. And I've had a lot of people tell me in the comments down below, hey, we're not the military, we don't have to rely on Full Metal Jacket. And as a result of that, they basically just say, hey, use something like a soft point or a hollow point that's designed for expansion. A lot of 223 hollow points are not designed for expansion. They are designed as match grade bullets, and the particular contour of the bullets are designed to give you as much accuracy as possible. And match bullets are not something that you would want to rely on for tumbling and fragmentation and things upon that nature. There's basically for competition. So not all hollow point bullets are made the same, but for the sake of the argument that we're talking about right now, we're just going to say hollow points and soft points that are designed for expansion and fragmentation. Since we're not the military and we don't have to worry about military rules, we don't have to rely on Full Metal Jacket 5.56. And that is what just a ton of people say in the comments down below. The lack of needing to rely on Full Metal Jacket. And if you can afford soft point or hollow point ammunition, like hollow points that are designed to expand, if you can afford that, and you can afford to stockpile that en masse, then by all means you go ahead and you do whatever it is that you're wanting to do. A lot of times people will stockpile things that look like this. These are polymer tip bullets. Actually, that one's got a green tip. People might confuse that with M855. Here's a purple one. These are polymer tip bullets, and these are designed for expansion. They're essentially a hollow point that's got a polymer tip on it. But those are designed for expansion, and the big issue with these is that they're significantly more expensive than what you can find in your standard, stereotypical, run-of-the-mill Full Metal Jackets. Like, for example, in my searching for ammunition, which I do on a very regular basis, I have found Full Metal Jacket 5.56, not 223, but Full Metal Jacket 5.56 for 36 cents per shot. That's with shipping, with taxes, with everything said and done, right to your door, 36 cents per shot. That's the cheapest that I've been able to find. However, the cheapest expanding soft point round I've been able to find after shipping and taxes and whatnot comes down to like 75 cents per shot. So it is significantly more expensive and significantly more cost prohibitive to stockpile soft point 223 ammo. Not only that, but if it's a soft point round, that means it's a 223 round. That is a commercial ammunition because it's not military style ammunition. And I know some people are saying, who cares about that? But by a general rule, 223 is moving at slower velocities than 5.56. And the difference in velocity becomes quite significant as you shorten your barrels. So if you're already rocking a short-barreled AR, or whatever platform it is that you're wanting to run this ammo through, if you're already rocking a short-barreled rifle or a pistol or something like that to where you have a significant decrease in velocity, and then you go to a 223 round versus a 5.56 round, then you're having even more decreased velocity, and as a result your round is going to have less energy and be less significantly impactful on the target. So if you want to stockpile a bunch of good, effective, cheap, fast-moving 5.56, then Full Metal Jacket is definitely the way to go, especially if you're getting 5.56 in comparison to Full Metal Jacket 223. If you're going to get 223, then there's a lot of discrepancies that come from that. I actually made several videos now on the differences between 223 and 5.56, which I'm sure you can find if you search it up. If not, then there's other YouTubers out there who have done it. So if you want to learn the differences between those two cartridges, it's pretty significant if we're talking about the velocities, and especially if you start shortening your barrels and whatnot. Like if you have a 16-inch AR and you run 5.56 through it, that's going to give you like 3,000 feet per second approximately. But then you swap off to 223, and you're probably going to get more like 2,800 feet per second. So even with a full-length, well, I say full-length rifle, even with a 16-inch barrel, which is an appropriate rifle-length barrel for here in the United States due to our gun laws, if you have that full-length barrel, I get it's not an actual like M16 style barrel, but it is a rifle barrel. If you have a rifle barrel but just swap out the ammunition from 5.56 to 223, you're already entering short-barreled rifle territory, which is one of the benefits of running 5.56. You get a little bit extra velocity. It runs a little bit more spicy than that of 223, and 5.56, because it's a military round, only comes in full metal jackets. Not only that, but like I said before, the soft point rounds and the Paulberger tip rounds and the hollow point rounds and whatnot that are designed to expand, those are oftentimes significantly more expensive than a full metal jacket. I could stockpile probably 3 times the amount of full metal jacket ammunition than I could soft point rounds. So it's not necessarily always a good idea to completely stockpile, say, soft point 5.56. However, just like everything else in life, it's not all cut and dry, like black and white. There's oftentimes some gray areas that you can find yourself stumbling into. If you want to use soft point 5.56 or soft point 223, because of how effective it is, then you're allowed to do that. And if you still want to have a massive stockpile, but you don't have a whole lot of money to work with, what you can do is you can go out and get yourself a few magazines worth of this soft point 223 ammunition. And then for your stockpile, you have full metal jacket ammunition. It's a pretty even, solid little trade-off. The likelihood of you needing more ammunition to the point to where you have to break into your stockpile is quite small. If for whatever reason you need your AR to be able to solve whatever job it is that you have to solve, that few magazines you have with soft point ammunition should be adequate enough. But if it's not, then you can move on to your full metal jackets, and that right there should be able to provide you with a good enough bullet experience. I'm trying to pick my terminology here very carefully because YouTube doesn't like the things I talk about. It provides a good enough bullet experience for you to be able to solve your problem on a significantly tighter budget. And you're going to have significantly more ammunition for the amount of money that you spend. For every 1,000 rounds of soft points, you can have 3,000 rounds of your full metal jackets, if we're talking about just cost alone. However, that being said, there's a couple of things that you got to pay attention to, mainly your point of impact shift from changing ammunition. If you're going to be rocking, say, soft point 223, and you're using 77 grain soft point, do not swap to a 55 grain 5.56, because that's going to significantly change your point of impact. And if we're talking about cost effectiveness, then odds are you're going to go with the 55 grain full metal jackets. Maybe you'll do 62 grain green tips, but those are more expensive than the 55 full metal jackets, which is one of the reasons why we see that so commonly used. But if you're going to be rocking your stockpile of 55 grain full metal jackets, then maybe use 55 grain soft points as well. This way, your point of impact shift from swapping from one ammo to another is going to be minimal, and the distances that most people would have to engage anything at, especially as a United States civilian, you're not even going to notice it. If you're shooting at way longer ranges, then you might see a significant enough difference to cause some problems, but most people aren't doing that. But your 55 grain 223, I would also recommend using 55 grain full metal jacket 223 versus swapping to a 5.56, because the velocity differences will lead to a difference with your point of impact. Like, you're going to have a point of impact shift because you have changed ammunition that has a different velocity. And if you can even manage to keep it in the same brand to increase the likelihood of using the same powders and having the same velocities, then you shouldn't have any point of impact shift at all. Like, if you're rocking a few magazines worth of Winchester soft point 55 grain ammo, and then your stockpile is Winchester soft point or Winchester full metal jacket 223, like the white box stuff, and they both have essentially the same velocities and the same powdering, everything like that, then even though you're changing bullet types, your point of impact shift is going to be pretty gosh darn minimal. So that would be the route that I suggest for most people, and I also go that route. I've got this bag of soft points and polymer tips and all sorts of goodies going on here. I've got 77 grain, 40 grain, 55 grain. I think that's pretty much all that I have in here, but this right here is my hunting ammunition. I've got 77 grain VMAX that I use for just in case purposes, and then I have stockpiles of 55 grain ammunition. So I guess I am kind of a hypocrite whenever I say like the advice that I just give for point of impact shift, but I know my holdovers for swapping ammunition, so you could go that route as well. But it's not so easy to just use soft point ammunition because it's expensive. It's expensive and oftentimes far more difficult to find just because of how abundant and numerous and cheap full metal jackets are, and that is whenever you have to start really paying attention to things like barrel length and twist rate and things like that inside your AR. So there we go, there's my 2 cents. Thanks for watching, folks. I appreciate your time. Like, subscribe, share. Description below is a link to all sorts of stuff. Go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. I'll see you on the next episode. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.